Hey, it's
Mushy
Pokemon
mush.
Colosseum. I'm Digi.
And I am dead. No, I'm May.
And we are these
are,
fars from the mic.
Indeed.
I forgot about our old thing until just now.
It's been a while.
It's been quite some time. I've not been doing as many Let's Plays until I guess the last 2 days when I did two-hour ones in a row. One with you and one that was very strange that I did by myself.
I like that one. It helped me fall asleep.
Yeah, you passed out on the couch while I was recording it.
Yeah, it was nice.
So weirdly, in the time since our last video on this, we've been reading through the comments, and so, oh Jesus, what happened?
Oh, I used this other.
The right stick. What is happening? Let's just go ahead and turn off the mouse and see if that helps.
Yes.
That was bizarre. The mouse was just like drifting around the screen. That's why we were acting that way. I don't know if that picked up on the capture. It probably didn't. So, this game seems terrible, going by what I was watching you play last time.
What were you paying attention to?
I wasn't paying that much attention.
That's
to be
why.
frank.
Like, the story is probably one of the bigger parts of the.
Regardless of the
game.
story, just the fact that it takes place entirely in towns and that most of it is like fighting very similar battles
The part
against
that
like
sucks
an
is it's double
endless
battles.
amount
It's all double battles.
of the same trainers. Like, but yeah, no, I wasn't paying that much attention the first time, to be fair. It just seemed like you were always in the same battle. Like, it just seemed like every time I looked up, the same battle was still going on.
Well, I was fighting a lot of the same trainers over and over again because I was trying to catch the shadow Pokemon.
Right. So, this game, as I talked about on the previous episode, when it came out, it did not exactly review well. It was not, like, highly praised by anybody. You never beat this game growing up.
Nope, never beat it.
My brothers who actually played this game never beat this game. So, and it didn't get reviewed well. The highest scoring review for the Pokemon, the two games in the series, were from Nintendo Power.
Oh,
Naturally.
jeez. Yeah.
So, yeah. All the other sources were like, yeah, these are bad. And so I went, like, I was thinking about, because if the conceit of my new channel, I Am Games, which you can find, by the way, by just typing iamgames.fun. People were mad at me for not linking it in the last, because in my last Let's Play, I like hyped it up, but didn't actually put a link in the description to it. Which, I mean, I told you the name of the channel. It's called I Am Games. You can search it on YouTube. But, iamgames.fun will take you there. The conceit of that show is that I watch people play video games, and then I write an analysis video, like, with their help, basically.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it would be fun to do that about Pokemon Colosseum. Now, granted, obviously, I was planning to rewatch the whole... Like, I was just going to watch back the Let's Play we recorded so I could actually see what happened. But I was like, first, what thesis are we working from here? Now, granted, you should probably play the whole game before you really come up with, like, a strong thesis. But, like, with the Spider-Man... There's no floor. There we go.
It'll come. It'll be there.
With the Spider-Man game, from a pretty early point... Like, because of the fact that Tom and I had just been trying to do Red Dead Redemption and we hated it, and neither of us really likes open world games, but he really was enjoying Spider-Man on the basis of the strong movement mechanics, I thought, alright, open world for people who don't like open world. Like, that was my thesis. And then it was kind of like, let's play through the rest of the game and see if anything, changes about the way I feel about this thesis. Nothing really did, so, we went forward with it. With this game, my thought was... revisiting the worst Pokemon RPG, because so I went to Metacritic to find out if it was in fact the lowest rated Pokemon RPG, and it would be if not for Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness being ranked even lower, in spite of the fact that it seemed like from people talking about the two games, everyone kind of agreed XD was better.
I think XD might be more playable because it's single battles instead of double battles, but I've never gotten really that far in XD.
Yeah, but they are the two lowest rated. XD had like 54 on Metacritic. This game had like a 62 or something like that. There goes the mouse again.
I'm just fucking around with the other stick.
So yeah, so the right stick makes that happen.
I am lost.
Do the R and L buttons turn the camera?
No.
No. Oh, they're doing something over there on the other screen. Oh boy, stop pressing things. Stop pressing buttons. Just stop doing anything. Let me click back over onto the Pokemon game.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So controlling the right stick controls the mouse, and then the mouse went out of the window and started clicking around on the desktop and made all the icons gigantic. So that's fun. I don't even know how that happened. I didn't know that there was such an easy method to make the icons gigantic. So yeah, I'm looking at it and it's like these games are really badly scored, and I'm like, sick. Like, we can figure out what went wrong, maybe come at it from that angle. But then I start reading the comments on our last Let's Play, of which there are several that are like, oh my god, my favorite YouTuber's playing my favorite video game of all time? Oh dude, Pokemon Colosseum, my favorite Pokemon game, the best Pokemon game. These seem sincere. And I was just like, okay, now I'm interested in this as the most maligned Pokemon RPG. Clearly there is something appealing about this game. Did you see the comment that went in depth analyzing like the movesets of Umbreon and Espeon and like their symbolism to the character and his fucking place in the narrative?
No, but
I will
that's
read it to you. Let me
yeah,
fucking go find it.
Find that shit. While I search frantically for where to go.
Yes, in this amazing game that is Many's favorite. See if you have like a guide in your menu or something. Like if you can, if there's like a help PDA. What's in the PDA?
It just has all your Pokemon. It's like kind of like the Pokedex.
I see.
And then you're supposed to get emails later on, but I haven't gotten any yet.
I forgot you were named fucking Trump. That's hilarious.
I caught all the shadow Pokemon in this area. I don't think there's anywhere for me to go. Go back here and see if I can go to the stadium.
Jesus Christ, you follow so much shit on YouTube.
Yeah. Just go to your channel.
Whatever is Game Explain has made like literally 80 videos about the Nintendo Direct.
Oh yeah, whenever there's a Nintendo Direct, they upload a ton of content.
Jesus. Alright, how do I fucking... I guess I'll just search. I'll just search Digibro After Dark. I've never seen a YouTube feed that populated before. Like, I've never seen like 100 videos released today in my life. That was a fucking trip. Alright, let's see. Let's play Pokemon. Alright, I'm gonna find this comment and I'm gonna read it in its entirety. Just so we can understand the depth of feeling that certain people have for this game. And alright, hold on. Let's find... Alright. This is from Elfos64. Actually, I would argue there was more thought put into it than you give it credit for. For example, your starters Espeon and Umbreon. There was a lot of depth put into their inclusion. As you all know, both are evolutions of Eevee. You get them by raising their friendship stat really high and leveling up during the day and at night respectively. In other words, featuring Espeon and Umbreon acts as a sort of day/night, yin/yang duality. Espeon and Umbreon are also the only two evolutions with forehead markings, Espeon a red dot and Umbreon a gold ring. Umbreon starts off like a level and a half higher than Espeon, as if a reflection of the protagonist, who is a former member of a Pokemon Crime Syndicate's Team Snag'em. It shows that his dark is ahead of his light side. Each one has 2 attacks and 2 supports in their moveset. Espeon has Confusion, Return, Helping Hand, and Reflect. Umbreon has Bite, Secret Power, Snatch, and Taunt. The fact Espeon has Helping Hand is significant, as it is a move that boosts the power of partnering Pokemon. Umbreon's attacks are noticeably weaker than Espeon's, as if it needs the Helping Hand boost. Like the game is trying to say, the dark needs the light to guide and buff it, and light is stronger than the dark. The fact it also has Reflect, a move that raises party defense, may be indicative of how the protagonist is now trying to be the good guy in his own way, and protecting the people from the external threat of Team Snag'em. They could have had Protect in that slot, but the move only helps the caster for one turn, whereas Reflect helps the caster's partner, and any Pokemon you want you switch out to in the few turns it lasts. Taunt forces its target to only use attacks. Snatch is a move that takes a stat raiser for itself, whether foe or ally. I could list a number of in-depth readings with certain deliberate features of the games, like how the legendary dogs are reflective of the personalities of the Cypher admins who originally had them.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I do think they chose Umbreon and Espeon because they're
dark and light.
They're dark and light, and also they're great. They round out your team, and they're great in double battles, and the movesets, like, you know, complement that, obviously. But that's pretty interesting, and I've never thought...
Alright, first let me give you my cynical take on it. First of all.
Word.
Eevee and its evolutions are the most popular Pokemon. Umbreon and Espeon were the newest evolutions at the time, and they are both edgy as fuck and dope as hell. They were, like, especially difficult to get in the games, so, like, it was a chance for people who hadn't played as these evolutions to get to play them. Also, the idea that the dogs would represent the personalities of whoever has them, every Pokemon in a Pokemon game represents the personality of the person who has it. Because the personalities are incredibly straightforward, and the characters are, like, caricatures that are... You know, they're built from the ground up to reflect the type of Pokemon they use.
Yeah.
Like, that is a constant in the games. So to say, like, that it doesn't take an exceptional amount of thought to create a two-dimensional character and then to find the Pokemon that best corresponds to that character based on the incredibly... I mean, it's like astrology. It's like, you know, you can relate a Pokemon to basically anyone on the basis of, like, how you read it, you know? Like, I could read if I had a mysterious guy, I could give them a Diglett, because, ooh, the mystery of fucking what's under the Diglett. Or I could give them something cutesy and mimetic, because if they're a cutesy mimetic character, because, hey, Diglett is cutesy and mimetic. Or, like, this character's just a rock trainer, so all he's got is rocks, because he's rock-headed, you know? And Diglett doesn't seem to have any thoughts in its head. It's a weird, thoughtless dumbass. Like, you know, it's not hard to do that.
No.
Now, I'm not criticizing this guy's take on the game. I'm just not impressed with this level of depth, is what I'm saying. Like, so here's something that I said in the comments recently on IM Games, because somebody said of my breakdown of the opening scene of the Spider-Man game, they were like, Digi sounds like that English teacher who fucking, like, goes over the symbolism of everything and, like, expects you to fucking take it seriously. And I responded, look, anything put into a story had to be thought about. Period. You literally can't write a sentence and not think about it. So, if you're going at it from the angle of, okay, I'm gonna give this character a Pokemon, what Pokemon should I give them? Would you just give them a fucking random Pokemon, or would you think about it for like 5 minutes? Like, you know, if I was, let's say I'm gonna make a character who's like, I'm gonna make a character who is a computer hacker who, like, Ed from Cowboy Bebop. Like, she's, you know, quirky, meme lord, hey hee, woohoo, I'm fucking Ed. I'm gonna give her Ditto right away, because it's, you know, a computer-based, like, well, I mean, not Ditto, I meant Porygon. I'm gonna give her Porygon, Ditto, and, like, some other goofy, like, weird, like, Pokemon that would seem thematically relevant to a hacker, you know. Like, I'm gonna give movesets that, like, that fuck with the characters. Like, I would give them any moves that, like, create status effects on the opponent's Pokemon, like Confusion or, like, you know, anything that just disrupts order. Because Ed's thing is that she just kind of throws systems into chaos, like, you know, and, like, has her little faces pop up all over the place. So, like, how do I metaphorically represent that in Pokemon? Can't be hard, you know? So I'm just saying that, like, this to me is not depth. This is, like, the bare minimum thought that I would expect to be put into any game, you know? You want to talk about depth and, like, mechanics, Final Fantasy X with the time travel shit. Because Tidus is a time traveler, and the entire game is based around, like, how you use haste and Hastega and fucking slow and Sloga, and, like, strategizing constantly around time manipulation as a way to bolster your party. And, like, yeah, everyone's moves, like, thematically relate to them as characters, but, like, also the way you combine them matters. You know. I mean, I guess that's just what an RPG should be. Now, granted, do I think there's plenty of RPGs that don't put in this level of thought and do just literally put in random bullshit that is meaningless? Probably. But that's not, like, I don't know. I don't feel like thought should be necessarily celebrated. It should be expected. A lack of thought should be made fun of, you know?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. You should definitely think out your games before you make them. I'm very confused as to where I have to go.
What was the last thing we were doing before we stopped?
I got all the shadow Pokemon in the lair.
Oh, you got all of it?
Yeah.
Good job.
I mean, I ended the last game doing, like, the last session doing that. That's why we ended it there.
I see. I didn't know that so much thought had gone into the previous video. Because I wasn't the one thinking about it.
She's giving me something for my PDA.
A strategy memo.
I don't think that helps progress the game in any way.
At least you got some stuff. Oh, hello. I'm Justy.
He's, like, really hard. I don't want to fight him yet. I'm gonna have to look up what to do.
Justy is such a, like... Here, I'll run around while you look that up.
Yeah, I am at a complete loss.
There's a 80s anime OVA called Cosmo Police Justy. That, if you're someone who's listening to this and you want to get into random 80s OVAs that are fun, and are short, it's only like 45 minutes. Cosmo Police Justy is about a psychic in space. He's like a psychic fighting guy. Like, he can do, you know, not psychic and fighting like a Pokemon, but like he fucking kills people with psychic powers and is like a police officer, I guess. I remember it being good. I literally don't remember anything about it other than that I watched and liked it. But that was one of the first 80s OVAs I watched and actually liked. Funnily enough, even though I talk so much now about how, like, you know, old anime is cool and shit, like, I used to hate old anime. Like, I used to be one of those kids who was like, why would I watch old stuff when there's so much good new stuff coming out? Like, I don't need no 80s stuff. I got my cute girls and my fucking moe. But, you know, it's a lot easier to be like that in 2007 when there was a lot of good shows coming out. And, not to say that there's nothing good coming out in modern anime. I haven't finished most of 2017, so I really have no comment on that year. 2018 has been, a bit miserable so far, though, if we're being honest with ourselves. I hear Tom Oliver rustling around.
Did you say my name?
Yeah, we're doing a Let's Play. You wanna scream something to the...
Give me money.
Give me money?
Yeah.
Tom,
Give I Am Games money. Give me money.
Well, the only way to give I Am Games money is by buying the I Am Games t-shirt.
I mean, it's the greatest t-shirt of all time, so why wouldn't you buy it?
That's a very good point. It comes in all different colors on the Spreadshirt page, by the way.
It comes in black and white, just like the only races that matter. I mean, what else do you need?
There's also, like, all the other colors, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the logo. The logo comes in black and white.
Ah.
And then you can put it on a red t-shirt and, you know, fucking be crazy. I'm fucking, it's good. Go buy it. Buy it now. How is this game, by the way?
I don't know. I am not the one playing it, but I am playing it at this moment because she's looking up what to do.
You're holding the controller, so you've confused me thoroughly.
She couldn't figure out where to go. Is this implying that a sexual activity has taken place here?
Whoa.
And she also is flirting with you.
Oh, hi, lovebirds, and how are you doing?
Whoa, there's some banging happening.
Yeah, this bitch definitely got fucked. She's in high heels.
Why do you look
she
like
looks
such
like
an
she's
edgelord?
ready. This is an edgelord game. This game is basically the edgy teens Pokemon.
And is what XD was, and I played that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is before. So you like XD?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Okay, see, the thing is that Pokemon XD is the like lowest reviewed Pokemon game ever.
Okay, but do
It's
you
got like a
trust
54
people?
on Metacritic. Like, and
What does Dragon Quest 11 have on Metacritic?
yeah, well,
right
no,
now?
this is why I'm interested because this game seems to me, upon base observation, to be a pile of ass. But upon us starting up the series, many listeners were like, "This is my favorite game of all time," and I was like, "Well, now I'm really curious about this game."
It's like a mix between like a traditional Pokemon game and Pokemon Stadium. Like it's got like 3D. I like how your visuals are tweaking out. Thanks, Dolphin.
Yeah.
It's got the 3D and the battles, but doesn't have wild catching. At least XD did. It was more
Yeah,
just like,
no, this is the same. This one, in this game, though, all the battles are double battles.
I think that might have been the case in XD as well. I played that like when it came out, so it's been a hot minute.
Okay.
Do you
just like
catch
this guy.
Pokemon from other trainers in XD?
I think what you do is there's like corrupted Pokemon in XD, and
Yeah.
you catch them and purify them.
Okay, so it's the same as this game,
Yeah.
then. Yeah, it's definitely like Pokemon for if you happen to be an edgy teen. And like,
It's like, man, these kids have been playing since the Game Boy. They're getting older. They have like sex
right?
and shit. We
When
gotta-
are they gonna make Pokemon for adults? When are they gonna make Pokemon the sex dungeon?
Oh, whoa.
I'm sure you can go online. And
When are
find
they
that.
gonna make the game where I can fuck all the gym leaders?
There's some dojins for that.
I want like Sengoku rants with Pokemon,
Look,
where after you beat them,
my
you
biggest
fucking
problem
rape
with the
them.
Pokemon series right now is Pokemon Let's Go is coming out, and they gave Misty more clothes, not less.
Oh no! What's Pokemon? Wait, Misty's in a game?
It's another remake of Lightning Switch.
I heard about that, but I didn't know. Oh right, of course Misty's in a game. She's the second gym leader.
Right.
I was just thinking like she would be in your party or something. I was like, what?
She's a gym leader, and they gave her like actual clothes and not in a bikini. So I'm just like, you've ruined everything that was good
That's
about
crazy.
my childhood.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I think Misty as a gym leader in the game was meant to be older than she is in the show. And I think that maybe now that Misty is better known for the show, they would not want to put her in a bikini because they would think it would be like putting a 12-year-old in a bikini. Because she's like 12 in the
It's
show.
Japan.
They put her in a bikini in the show.
Yeah, but like only when they went to like, you know, like only for like an
She's
event.
wearing like booty shorts and a crop top.
Yeah,
And thank God for
yeah.
that.
Alright, Tom, you can go now if you want. You don't have to stick around.
I was
And...
gonna go play more Spider-Man. Actually.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Are you gonna
shit.
go unlock all those extra costumes like you said you would in my fabricated version of you in the I Am Games video?
Yeah, I gotta live up to the fake me that exists.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
now.
Good luck with that,
Yeah.
mon fier. If you come up with a third video idea, just let me know. I'm not I am down to milk Spider-Man for all it's worth. Anyway, that was a nice little visit. Tom left the door open.
What a games.
What a games indeed. So you learned what to do? You just had to fight this guy?
This guy wasn't appearing for whatever reason, because I knew I had to fight the guy with the ferret. But I had to like do something to unlock his presence.
You probably just had to leave town and come back. Or
I
something.
probably had to talk to that lady who upgraded my Poke PDA thing.
I'll poke your PDA.
I'll poke your PDA.
I am
I got rock throw.
I'm a big fan of PDA.
Did you ever have a PDA?
No, I was referring to public displays of affection.
Oh, you're a gay boy.
I am a gay boy. I
What's
never
so
had a
great about
though.
PDA?
Huh?
What's so great about PDA? Unless you're the one in it.
Yeah, being the one in it.
How do you feel about other people PDAing?
I like to see public displays of affection.
I
because-
like to know that love exists.
Yeah, I like to me, even before I was with you, when I saw PDA, like, I understand people who see it, and if you're like, if you are, you know, forever alone, and you see PDA, and you're like, why can't that be me? Like, to me, it's like, oh yes, there's hope. Those people can do it, so can I.
Those people
you
say
know?
that about everything, though. Like,
Yeah.
like, why can't that be me? They see somebody who's buff, and they're like, why can't that be me? And it makes them feel bad.
Right,
Like,
to me it's like, that can be me. Like, when I see somebody... Now, granted, sometimes when we're at the gym, I see these motherfuckers who are built like a brick shithouse, and it makes me remember that I'm 5'8", and I can never truly be a brick shithouse no matter how hard I try. But then I think, you know what? That just means I gotta get those guys on my team. Because I'm not concerned about having strength for myself. I'm just concerned about having strength on my side, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way you gotta look at the world. It's not like, how good can I be? It's like, how good can my squad be?
Squad goals.
Exactly, squad goals. That's why I try to, you know, when I see people who I consider, like, talents that I would want to work with, I gather them. And that's, like, you know, the PCP and everybody else I work with is, like, you know... Like, the most recent example being Zen Huxtable. Like, we moved to Boston, we found out he lived here, and I was immediately like, I gotta hang out with this dude, because...
He's a bro, man.
I don't know what we can do together, but, like, I really respect what he does, and he seems to respect what I do, so this has to happen, you know? There's magic in the air. The night sky lights your face like a mystery left
Like a
uncovered.
pizza pie.
I think that's the lyric.
Like a pizza pie.
Mm-hmm. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
So we had pizza yesterday.
We did have pizza yesterday. It was
Tom
alright.
ate all my goddamn pizza.
Tom did eat.
No, he
Tom
killed
did
it.
eat the
No. I hope this is like a reinitiable battle, or else we'll have to just restart the game.
Is that a thing that can happen?
What do you mean? That's how most of the battles go.
What? So, like, if you fail to catch it, you just have to fucking reload your save and do it again? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do you need to, like, you have to catch every Pokemon?
I want to catch all the Pokemon. What's the point of playing a game where you can only catch 30 I have to restart the game.
Alright, do what you gotta do. So, okay, it has not been a rule that's been making you restart all this time. You've just been wanting to catch them.
I love for it, first of all. Like, I didn't expect whatever move I used to hit that hard.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Should I restart it or no?
Yeah, do whatever you want.
I feel like that's, like, cheating, though. It's just a fur it.
Cheating,
It's like, it's
just
not,
save scumming.
you know. But it, like, I'll have to redo everything.
Like, all you did was that fight. Didn't you redo, like, 80 fights earlier?
Yeah, let's restart the game.
Alright,
Oh, boy. I'm sorry, Internet.
let's refresh. Is that how you do it? Stop.
Just
And
reopen the
start.
emulator. I know what I have to do now.
Alright, I have no idea how this will metastasize as video. I don't know why I chose that word. Alright, there we go. We're back. We're in action. Everything's good.
My humble
Everything's good. Oh,
apologies.
god damn it. What the fuck? Stop pressing anything.
I'm not pushing anything.
Oh, well, I don't know why this is happening.
Well,
Ah! Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Sometimes emulators are a big pain in the fucking ass. I think having this controller plugged into my computer is also just like causing my computer to be stupid. So my computer's been stupid all day,
It's
and I
been
can't think
nothing
of
but a
any
poop.
reason. I need to upgrade my everything, and thankfully, the best thing about having Tom living with us is that he's a big tech man, and this is like part of the incentive of why I wanted him like in the house, because I was like, this guy
This guy's a smart.
he will redesign our mainframe, you know, like he'll hack into the gate, if you get my drift. He's like Daru in Steins Gate, except not fat. Well, yeah, not fat.
No,
Tom's not fat.
he's not fat. He eats.
He probably thinks he's fat, but he's
eats,
not fat.
What does he eat? Soylent.
He eats fucking Huel.
He'll.
I don't know if you eat that so much as drink it. I think there are bars. I think there's Huel bars and shakes or something. I'm not sure. But yeah,
fucking fifth wave food.
like, as Tom kept talking about, so like, Tom was talking about like building a streaming PC, and it kept blowing my mind because like, to me, when I hear the thought, let me back this up a second. Actually, let me talk about being spoiled in a weird way. And I know me and Victor talked about this on Digi Bros before, but maybe you can relate and tell me some of it yourself.
I was definitely spoiled in a weird way.
Did you have a problem where, like, in spite of the fact that your dad would buy you all kinds of shit, it was never there was like weird things that he would be cheap about that you felt like were the important things?
Yeah.
Like, what would be an example for you?
Food.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Food. It's funny that in your case, because my dad is never cheap about food, because my dad grew up he went hungry for most of his childhood, so he was always like, you know, our kitchen was well stocked.
It's not that the kitchen wasn't well stocked. It just wasn't like healthy food or
Right.
food that like made you feel good inside.
Yeah.
It was like food that like spoiled you on the inside, like Hamburger Helper and stuff
We ate
like
a lot
that.
of that stuff in my house too.
But I'd say mostly with clothes until I started to make a fuss about it. Like he was doing the best he could, but I like fashion and stuff, and like he like couldn't understand why I wanted new clothes. And I wore hand-me-downs for most of my my upbringing until I like started making my own money.
Who are they being handed down to?
My
you
mom's
from?
clothes.
Oh,
so they were like
that's definitely
real old.
sad boy, poor boy stuff. In spite of not being, that's
like
the thing.
he'd buy me clothes that I needed, like if I needed an outfit for a concert, like a
Yeah.
school concert, or I needed to buy more jeans, he would like take me shopping. But I just like think it was something he was clueless about. So
That's the thing. It's all about that, the cluelessness. So okay, my dad, I didn't grow up with like money for forever. Recently someone called me like a spoiled rich kid, and I thought it was really funny because I was not a spoiled rich kid. I was a spoiled rich adult. You know, growing up, things were very different just depending on where my parents were in life. You know, like when I was a baby, like, you know, they didn't have a separate bed for me. Like, I slept with my parents until I was like I don't remember what age, but like I think I was like 5 by the time I had my own bed.
Really?
By the time they could afford to buy me a bed. Yeah, something. Maybe not 5, maybe
that
4.
explains a lot.
Yeah, and then Victor was born, and I shared a bed with him until much later, you know? So I've always shared a bed, and maybe that's why I'm so comfortable sharing beds with people. But, yeah, so, like, you know, my parents were poor until my dad got into the car industry, and then it wasn't that he actually had a lot of money, he just spent a lot of money. Like, he got into debt. And, like, you know, he would get a bonus because he worked extremely hard, and he would fucking be employee of the month every month, and so he'd get these huge bonuses, but he would blow them immediately. So, like, he did a lot of flagrant spending, but not a lot of, like, upkeep spending. Like, the important stuff, you know? The shit you need to raise your... My dad is not very good at quality of life spending unless it's for something that is for him. And so, like, for me and Victor growing up, like, yeah, he might get a big paycheck and then buy us a bunch of toys or a bunch of Pokemon cards or something. But something that would, like, improve our overall quality of life, if he didn't understand it, he didn't understand why you needed it, and it would just be like, for instance, new computers. My dad has always been extremely cheap about computers, and so he would go out and just buy whatever is the cheapest computer he finds, because he's like, oh, well, why do you need an expensive one? You know, like, because I think in his mind, an expensive computer is for like a business or a profession.
Use.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I need a good one because I'm trying to become a professional, self-taught, and I need a device that can compare to what I'm trying to do.
My dad would always buy me like cheap like netbooks or just like the most cost-efficient model available.
And that would be fine if we were actually broke. But then my dad, for his own quality of life stuff, he'd buy himself always the nicest thing. You know, like for his home gym, he bought like all the nicest equipment. He bought himself like several $300 bikes. You know, he would have like the full pad set up and everything. Like if you look at and the weird part was when we would express interest in something he understood, he would go fucking ham. So like there was one point when Victor was like towards the end of high school, starting college, and like his computer was starting to fall apart. Like, it wasn't able to really keep up with the video editing he was trying to do. He needed all these camera parts and stuff, and he was like, you know, this is like my needs list. And then he would say something like, my dad was biking a lot of the time, and Victor was like, hey, you know, I want to go on bike rides with you. And my dad just throws down and buys him a $300 bike, like, out of nowhere, without even saying, like, just, hey, I bought you a bike. And Victor's just like, that's cool, I'm glad to have this bike, but, like, I need a new graphics card. My graphics card is shitting the bed. My hard drive's about to fail. Like, my camera, I need this lens in order to shoot this type of scene. And it's just like, these are important things that, like, you know, raise the baseline. And I don't need a bike, you know? Like, it would be fun to have a bike. So, but because my dad does not use computers, like, he uses a computer at work, granted, but at home he exclusively would use like his phone or tablets and stuff, like once he actually got into them in like
Was your dad ever
09.
really big on the internet, or not
No.
until he had like access to tablets?
He's still not on the internet. He just uses it for
but
emails and
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah, like pretty much exclusively Facebook and email is like what his phone is for, you know. And Instagram after a while, like probably after the integration with Facebook, when it really blew up in an even bigger way. So yeah, like that's all he uses the internet for, and he just like, you know, and it's hard to try to like hard sell him on something, like, you know, it was just like a weird feeling like, Dad, you get me all these things, but like if you bought me this thing, it would be like an investment in my future, you know? And it's like, how do I explain that? And Victor was especially bad at explaining that. So Victor would never get those kinds of things. And he felt like he had to work. Both of us had this weird feeling like anything important we had to work for ourselves. But then like, it's like it should have been the opposite. Like that's the kind of stuff that you really wish your dad would help you with so that you have a stronger start out the gate, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so when I started making my own money, I am always like first and foremost about quality of life purchases. It's always like, I want to have the best equipment. Like growing up, I always had like, whenever I got a desk chair, it was always like, you know, the cheapest desk chair you can get, the $60 one that you find
At Walmart.
Or like the cheapest one at Office Max.
The one of 2 models that are sold at Walmart.
Yeah, and like my parents would always buy me like really shitty beds, like just stuff like that. They always went the cheapest on. And then when I started making my own money, those were the first things I upgraded. It was like, I'm gonna get the nicest chair and the nicest bed, and now I don't have back problems anymore. I'm gonna get the nicest computer, and now I don't have computer problems. But things are updating all the time. Stuff is constantly upgrading. There's always a new version that's better than the one you have. And if you know how to navigate that stuff, if you keep up with it, and you know how to buy and sell at the right times, you can look at everything you own as an investment. And I've never looked at things that way because I grew up with hoarders. Like, my mom's mentality has always been like, you buy it so you can own it forever, and she doesn't throw anything out, you know? Like, she has all her, like, she has like 100 old pairs of shoes. She has every, item of clothing she's ever bought. She has, all her old phones are probably somewhere. It's like the mentality of like getting rid of something that you once paid for just doesn't exist in my household. But with tech nerds, the way that you stay on the up and up is to look at your stuff as an investment and constantly trade things out. Mm-hmm. So like the second that you're maybe 4 months out from the next like thing coming out, then you know that like as soon as the next phone is announced, your phone is going to depreciate in value considerably, So you always want to be like jumping between phones and like different brands and shit so that you're always, selling off the old one at just the right moment that you can go cheaper on the next one. But like if you wait too long, your thing's not worth as much. And so it's always about like navigating when is the optimal moment to trade my stuff and resell and buy the new better version just to keep your quality of life constantly as high as it can be. It takes a lot of work in keeping up with things to do this.
Oh yeah.
And it takes
That's why a lot of people are clueless on that.
Right. It takes a lot of Craigslist and eBay. It takes a lot of fucking, following Newegg and ThinkGeek or whatever the fuck. Like, you gotta know what's going on. I don't think ThinkGeek was...
No, ThinkGeek,
ThinkGeek's like a clothing apparel company now, I think. I think at some point they were like a tech news site, but I don't know if that's still the case.
Their brick and mortar stores only have like Funko Pop figures and Rick and Morty and Pokemon.
I had never known about such a thing, but there is a brick and mortar ThinkGeek store in the mall here that is just like FYE, but with only the product, like the tie-in products. Like,
yeah.
Like if FYE just stopped selling actual media entirely and just sold media tie-in stuff, they would be the ThinkGeek store, which is probably the right way to go. Like, that's probably the best way to make money. Like, nobody buys physical media, so, the products are more important. But, in any case, I say FYE, but I was actually thinking, in my head I was picturing Newberry Comics, which is what we have here, that is just FYE, but...
With, like, more comics.
Yeah, with just a better selection of manga.
Yeah.
And they have K-pop.
They have a lot of K-pop.
They have a K-pop section. That's
they just
fucking
seem
wild.
to be more on the nose with culture, like, have a better understanding versus just, the memes.
So
going into FYE is always a big meme. Like,
it's a huge fucking meme, dude.
Every time I see one, I like have to go in and just see
and walk out memes. Horribly disappointed. Like a big part of my growing into my 20s was, as a kid, I'm a huge fan of brick and mortar stores, like probably more so than most people my age, because I got into internet buying so late and because I had romanticized purchases so much in my youth. Mm-hmm. So like, for me, the idea of a fun day out has always been go to the store and look at things, And like when I was growing up, you had like Babbage's, which was a big...
What is that?
Babbage's was like a huge DVD store. They got bought out by FYE eventually. In the same way that... Oh, wait. Was it Babbage's, or is that the video game store that got bought out? GameStop and FYE bought out every media store there is. Like, there used to be shitloads of gaming stores, and then GameStop bought all of them. And like, all the other DVD stores got bought by FYE. But, so there was this one DVD store that had, like, the best DVD selection, and by far the best anime selection. And, like, every weekend, me and my cousin Boyd would go to fucking Babbage's and, like... just stare at anime DVDs because they had fucking everything, but they had it all at full price. They never reduced price on anything. So it was always $30 a pop for a DVD, whereas at Best Buy it was $21, but they had like no selection. So this is like this is why I talk so much about broad and niche media, is because this was hammered into my brain as an anime fan growing up. Like, if you want the thing that's not the most popular in the world, it's going to cost you more money. That's just how it works. So yeah, like, we would go there and, like, to other video game stores and shit and just look at all the games and look at all the stuff. But, so FYE, like, there was a weird... Like, FYE usually was kind of like a, like, Best Buy, but only media, right? But then, there was a period of time where there was this gigantic FYE near my house that had a fucking huge used section, and they had fuckloads of cool obscure anime, like just all kinds of shit that you would never find anywhere else. That was like $3, and there was just like an endless supply of it. But right around the time that I got my own, like I started making an income, that FYE got remodeled and downsized. They built an Ulta Beauty and a, like, literally they split the store into thirds and built an Ulta and a Five Below in the other 2/3. And then FYE became this super small, like, Spartan version of itself. And, yeah, nothing of intrigue was ever found there again. But, like, they didn't toss their collection of used anime. They just mixed it. They just made an anime section and mixed it all in. So they still had, like, a pretty decent amount of weird shit. But, like, once I was making money, by this point, like, streaming has reached the point where it's everywhere. So it's like, when I was younger, like, the allure of going to FYE and seeing this amazing amount of used DVDs, it's like, if I had bought these, this legitimately would have been the only way to watch this show. And now, I'm like, I could go on Kiss Anime and find these shows. I'm not gonna pay, even if it is only $6 a disc, there's no romanticism in it, because I'm not going to bother putting this into my DVD player if there's a streaming website that has it. Even if I paid for it, you know? Like, everyone has seen my huge DVD collection. I do not watch those. I have not done so in a long time. We were watching, like, Haruhi. I own I have $200 of Haruhi DVDs because I bought the special edition of every there's only 4 discs. I bought the special edition of all of them. That's $50 a pop. We're watching it on fucking Kiss Anime.
Do you regret any of those purchases, or?
Well, I regret every purchase I've ever made because I want to have that money back.
Of course.
But, like, I don't generally live with regrets. The way I see it, it meant something at the time. I mostly regret, like, I just regret a lot of purchases that, like, I think, like, I bought something expecting it to be one way, or expecting it to, like, have some effect on me that it didn't have. Or that, like, I bought, like, a lot of the stuff I bought at Otakon, especially figures, it's very much like a heat of the moment. It's like, oh my god, they actually have the character that only I know. Let me pay $80 for a figure of it. Because you go to, like, when I would go to Otakon growing up, usually my dad would give me, like, a budget. Like, he'd give me, like, because it was always on my birthday, so he'd give me, like, $500 to go to fucking Otakon, and I'd fucking go crazy, and, like, I would feel like I had to spend all $500 because, you know, where else would I spend money but at Otakon? So, like, I would try to...
It's your birthday,
right,
bitch.
it's my birthday. So, like, but because I'm super picky, like, I would only find so many things I kind of want, and then, like, spare no expense on buying those things. And then I'd get home and I'd be like, why did I spend $80 on this? Like, this is not even cool, you know? I don't know, money is a weird meme. Because, like, figuring out what is the value of a thing is, like, nigh impossible for me. Like, I can never... I'm always just constantly wondering, like, what is my basis on, like, what do I think is worthwhile or not worthwhile? And it's especially weird when it comes to media. Because media pricing used to be determined by companies just based on what they thought they needed to make a profit on something. And now there is no real logic, because if you can get the product for free, then it just becomes a matter of, like, well,
what do we think people are willing to pay for? Like, what would be an acceptable price? I mean, for me as a consumer, I don't know what anything's worth. Nobody knows what anything's worth. They don't know what it's worth, but they're selling. They know how much it costs to manufacture each thing, but, like,
if I watch an anime and I think it's pretty good...
Are DVDs in Japan, like, cheaper than in the US?
No, they're way more expensive. Like more than twice as expensive. Almost 3 times as expensive. And the reason for that is interesting. It's because... So, back in the early 90s... or like when VHS and DVDs first came out, they weren't thought of as like something that you would sell to like individuals at home, because not that many people had them. Like, how do I put it? A VHS tape was not particularly expensive to produce, but like you'd have to sell a whole lot of them for it to be like justified, right? To like distribute them and everything. And if only like so many people have VCRs, then that means you have to charge those people like a pretty high price to justify the fact that you even bothered making this VHS and distributing it and everything. And there just wasn't originally an expectation that many people would do it. So what they would do is they would sell the tapes to Blockbuster for like $70 a piece, and then Blockbuster rents them out to people for $5, and they eventually recoup the costs of each individual, VHS tape they bought. So that was like the way it originally was. In Japan, like, it never became more than that. Like, in America, like, eventually everyone had a VHS player, and then everyone had a DVD player, and so eventually they realized that they didn't need the middleman of Blockbuster. They could just reduce the prices of what it costs to buy physical media and just sell it to people directly, and they could still recoup the cost because everyone was going to buy it. Everyone's got a DVD player. Everyone's going to buy the must-see movie because everyone likes to watch movies at home. And as people built better and better home theater systems, then it just became that, like, people don't even want to go to the theater because they already have a 70-inch screen in their house with fucking 5.1 surround and, like, 8 speakers and everything. So, like, enough people had that they could reduce the price of the movies themselves.
Is that still a popular thing? Do people still like go all out on speakers and stuff? Because
nowadays it's more about the bar, like that, like a speaker bar under your TV. But yes, like it's just that the technology has gotten smaller. Because it used to be that we had to have like
surround sound speakers.
Yeah, like the 5 ones that you screw into the ceiling, and then the fucking 2 big ass towers next to your TV.
I remember those.
Now
days.
it's just like a bar that somehow like fucking creates echo sound throughout your space or whatever. That was basically like when Bose came out. They like revolutionized sound technology or whatever.
Oh, we need a better TV down here.
We need better everything. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we're getting to, is that our baseline is very low for a lot of the shit we've got in the house, and not like. Not to say that it's bad, but, like, it's just, there's a lot of things I would like to upgrade, and it doesn't help that I fucking broke my TV on the way here. Like, literally when we were moving, the pride and joy of our previous house was like, I'm a real adult man. I bought a TV for, like, more than $100, and, I fucking dropped it and broke it and killed it. So that's a sad memory. Anyways,
crying. So
in Japan, partially because their population is just smaller, but also because there were just fewer people who built like home theater setups, DVD sales and Blu-ray sales like remained a niche, and so they never had this like great reduction in price because they were never trying to sell it to a massive audience. They were trying to sell it to just whoever has a good home theater setup, and most of that is people who don't like to leave the house. Antisocial people. Antisocial people tend to be into anime. So the anime DVD market is like still, $70 a pop, and like a 13 episode series released on 7 discs, because that's the kind of people who, are gonna pay for it. But in America, anime is mostly watched because, like, the people who watch anime in Japan, if it's just like teenagers watching shows for teens, they're watching it on television. If they're actually buying shit, it means that they're probably from like if they are in fact a teen, they're a rich teen, like a spoiled rich teen. If they're not a teen, then they are an adult who's using their paycheck on it. But the point is that either way, they have money, and that's who they're relying on, is people who have money. In America, anime fans are just people who watch it on streams online, and has nothing to do with like they can't make money from you watching anime on TV, because nobody's watching it on TV here, unless you're watching it on fucking Cartoon Network or something. But they can profit from streaming, And so streaming has made it so there is a way for them to profit off of people just watching anime. But, like, the problem is that there's not enough of that, like, contingent of super rich fans who will buy the shit. And they're not marketed to very well. But, like, eventually, this is why, and it's really funny that, like, people get pissed off at Aniplex because they decided to, you know, become their own US distributor and not go through a middleman, because the US distributors all kept cutting the prices on DVDs and making them cheaper and cheaper, and it was like, not only does this not benefit the Japanese companies making the shows, like, they're not making enough return on their investment, but also, like, the Japanese fans started buying American DVDs and importing them because they were cheaper.
Yeah.
And so it was undercutting their market, and so fucking Aniplex was like, fuck it, we're gonna put out the fucking DVDs at, like, comparable prices to what it is in Japan, and you could just fucking deal. And, like, I'm sure it has worked, because they choose, like, really big shows to bring over that are big enough that there will be enough rich fans who will pay for it, you know? Like Kill La Kill and Sword Art Online. Like, those, not a lot of people own those on Blu-ray, but the people who really give a fuck do, and I'm sure those have been profitable shows, you know? So, yeah. Did that answer your question?
It did.
Why did you ask that? I don't remember. I don't remember what we were talking about before I went down that rabbit hole.
You went to that store.
Babbage's.
Cabbages.
Cabbages. Oh my god, this is still happening.
I'm just using, like, not good Pokemon to fight. Like, I'm using an Umbreon.
Or?
No, I'm not losing. It's just, they're kind of like it's kind of a stall team that I'm using. Like a high defense, low attack team.
I see. That I'm not complaining about the length of the battles. I'm complaining about the fact that 5 battles in a row have been in the same place.
And then I entered a tournament.
Did you, like, have to?
Yeah, I have to, because whoever wins this tournament is rewarded with a shadow Pokemon, and I entered it to obtain
So you
info.
had to fight 5 battles in the same place.
Yes.
Shit game. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, this is the Colosseum. This is what Pokemon Colosseum is about.
Oh,
the Colosseum battle.
So this game is like So is this game like an RPG, or is it like just Colosseum battles the game?
No, I mean, it's not like that big of a part of the game, but it's what the game's named after. Because, like, instead of gyms, they have Colosseums in the cities. And they're building, like, a huge Colosseum.
It might be that this is just a game that is so unique that, like, the only way to really like it is to understand what the hell it even is.
What don't you understand that's going on so far?
I don't understand what the point of this game is. Is it just fighting?
The point is to get the shadow Pokemon and then make their hearts open up.
Okay.
And then you have them on your team.
I don't mean narratively. I mean, what is the appeal of this game?
Pokemon in 3D.
In 2018.
There is none.
Well, there clearly is, because some people say this is their favorite game. So, like, there's got to be something in particular about this game that would make people say it's their favorite game.
The story. It has characters and a narrative.
It could be that. Let me know. Anybody who likes this game at all, please leave a comment explaining in detail why you like this game. Make it as long as you want. I will read long-ass comments. Every time someone's like, sorry, I wrote like a whole fucking story on your thing, and I'm like, this is only 5 paragraphs. You appreciate that this video was 5 pages? You understand? Do you know how long these fucking scripts are?
They're quite long. Like my dong.
Point being, if you write 5 paragraphs, I can read that in 2 minutes. It's not a big deal. So, you know, tell me what the hell is the point of this game? Because it's, you're not on an adventure. You don't get to, like, see an interesting world or anything. Graphically, it's, like, the aesthetic is...
Okay, some of the Pokemon models are from Stadium. Like,
Yeah.
just, like, a lot of the like, the Johto models and Kanto models are just ripped from Pokemon Stadium.
Are they, like, upgraded at all? Like, to look better?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I just want to know, like, is there something distinctive about the way that the mechanics of this game work, or about its aesthetic?
I mean, the battles
or...
are the same as the adventure games. Like, there's nothing different about how the battles are done.
Well,
they're just a regular 2-on-2 battle.
This is why I need answers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
it could
people will
be
just
that,
tell you the story and stuff.
I mean, there's... Okay, for instance, the fact that the game only lets you capture certain Pokemon means that inherently you will have to think differently in terms of strategy. Because, like, in the Pokemon RPGs, you're just basically always given Pokemon that will just make this area easier. Like, say, in the lead up to Brock, you catch a bunch of grass and bug Pokemon, like, stuff that will be good against Brock. And then in the lead up to Misty, you catch, like, well... I guess in the lead up to her, you catch a bunch of shit that would be terrible against Misty. But, like, usually...
I think it's more, like, in the older games, because I think in the first gen, like, when you go to face Brock, the only Pokemon that has a type advantage that you can catch would be, like, Nidoran, who has, like, Double Kick, which is a fighting move. You don't catch any grass Pokemon up
Dude,
to
the
them.
idea that Rock is weak to fighting, I found out about, like, 2 years ago.
Dude, why have you not looked at any of the type charts?
Okay, like I said...
Because I memorized
Okay,
that shit as soon
so
as I could.
when I was a kid, they had the type chart on the website, and I didn't comprehend it because I didn't know... Okay, I never would look at, like, the info page on my Pokemon in the game. Like, if it said something like my main engagement with Pokemon was the cards. Like, I played Pokemon cards constantly. I had, like, all my friends had Pokemon cards. I traded them. I went to Pokemon League every single week. I fucking played with Victor all day. I built decks. I had hundreds and hundreds of cards. Like, I mostly knew Pokemon from the cards. So, like, when I played the games, I understood it the same way as the cards. And, like, the anime doesn't tell you about type differences and shit. The anime doesn't even make sense with types.
Yeah,
differences
Pikachu
and shit.
beats Onix with Thunderbolt.
Well, I mean, he is wet. You know, he's weakened by the water.
He would be immune though, because he's a ground type.
Right, but he's not a ground type in that moment. He's a water type in that moment. You know, it's like science. Anyway, the anime tried to be more like realistic. The games tried to be more like typing matters, and the card games is like they boiled it down so far that, like, you know, in my mind,
get rid of Taunt or Snatch for Confuse Ray.
Oh, I mean, I would never use Taunt for any reason.
Yeah,
so.
I'm getting rid of Taunt because the computers aren't smart enough to use.
Also, growing up, I never used any status effect moves. I just gave my Pokemon all power moves.
I mean, the games are made so easy, like,
Right.
that you don't even need them.
But you do if you're trying to play by catching all the Pokemon, in which case you have to actually strategize, and the game becomes very different.
Shit. Yeah.
And this is why I finally learned it all as an adult, because, like, I would be getting my ass kicked, and I'd be like, what am I doing wrong? And then I'd look it up, I'd be like, what the fuck? Rock is weak to fighting? Because in my mind, they're the same type, because in the card game, they're the same type. Rock is fighting in the card game, you know? So yeah, that was very confusing for me.
I'm immediately getting rid of Confuse Ray to teach Umbreon Toxic.
Hell yeah.
Immediately.
I'm
Confuse Ray's
addicted to
garbage.
you, don't you know that you're toxic?
Especially when you're trying to catch guys.
Hunt the hare and down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin Rock Full-la-di-da. Don't even ask how my mind went from Toxic to Rocky Road to Dublin. I can't explain in a rational way.
You don't need to explain. It's okay.
But I'll give you a
with
hint.
you.
The middle point of that connection was womanizer, womanizer, you're a womanizer, oh, you're a womanizer, baby. But
Are you
Rocky,
a big Britney fan?
No. No, I'm not a big Britney fan. Do I strike you as a big Britney fan?
Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of her early music because my friend Tommy, the gay boy who became a dancer, was a huge Britney fan. He was real big into Britney and NSYNC, especially Britney.
Did you ever have a favorite boy band?
I mean, I guess NSYNC, and I mostly was exposed to them because my mom had TRL on all the time. Because, like, in my house, it was all, like, MTV in the living room. And, like, all my mom ever watched was, like, music shows. So, like, I saw assloads of TRL, and that's why I knew all the NSYNC songs, all the Britney songs, all the fucking Eminem songs. Like, anything that was big on TRL, I would have known it in the late 90s. Do you remember TRL? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I never seen any of TRL though.
Oh man, that like was the late 90s in music basically.
Yeah.
It stands for Total Request Live. And the idea is that it's a live show filmed in New York where
this Yanma's
with
hard to
Carson
catch.
Daly. This is where Carson Daly comes from.
Eric Carson Daly.
And he would be in the studio with all these screaming fucking teenage girls, and the idea is that you call in and like request what songs you want to hear, and whatever songs have the most requests get played on TRL every day. And generally, you know, just whatever is the biggest pop songs you get. It's just basically top 40, but for television. And then they would play the music videos, but they would only play like 2 minutes of it. Like, they'd always cut off the end. They'd never get to like for instance in Eminem songs you never get to the third verse, and that's why a lot like his song The Real Slim Shady, like I know the first 2 verses by heart from my childhood and I never learned the third verse because they would always cut it off on TRL. But yeah, it was just on in my house like 24/7, so I would always hear all the new tracks and shit, and I'd always be. That's why I would be like in my childhood, I always thought of like Linkin Park as relatively obscure because they were not on TRL, you know, and that was like my understanding of what popular
pop
music. Only to find out later that Hybrid Theory is like one of the top 10 best-selling albums of all time. But that was also like the late 90s was like the pinnacle of record sales because of TRL. Like that was the point when like, you know, like when the really big stuff was like unfathomably big because there's like, not only is it all over the radio, but there's a whole TV show dedicated to it, you know.
Oh, good, thank God he didn't hurt himself.
And it basically was the only way to see music on MTV because, like, you know, MTV phased out everything else from reality, but TRL was such a big deal that that was like the only way you could actually see music. But that went the way of the dinosaur eventually. That's why Eminem sings, "White America, I could be one of your kids. White America, you know Eric looks just like this. White America, Erica loves my shit. I go to TRL, look how many hugs I get." That's what he's talking about.
It's beautiful.
White America!
That scared me. Okay, he's not confused anymore. He's gonna fall asleep, hopefully. Actually, I don't think he can fall asleep because, he's like soundproof.
Look at these eyes, baby blue, baby. If they were brown, Shady lose. Shady sits on the shelf, but baby, Shady's cute. Shady knew Shady's dimples would help. In White America. Alright, I'm done with my White America.
Are you quite done?
I'm just thinking about TRL and it's making me think about Eminem because, like, every time a new Eminem song came out, it was on TRL for, you know, months on end, and that's why I learned them all, and, like, that's probably the basis of my ability to rap, is that I fucking memorized Eminem songs as a kid.
You're not the first person I know who's told me that.
Yeah? Who else?
Yeah, there was this kid in my, one of the frat boys who I hung out with who was, like, obsessed with me, who would, like, rap God as fast as he possibly could and would like
sucks,
brag about it.
What a gay.
Yeah, you could say that again.
Cause like I mean, if you want to hear me rap an Eminem song as fast as I can, you got to do Without Me. Because that's a good one from a time when Eminem was good, you know?
Yeah.
Or even the Real Slim Shady. I used to do Real Slim Shady Slim Shady as fast as I could all the time at the lunch table. Because that's one of those... It's one of those rare moments where the dumb autistic shit that I love to do, like, aligns with what other people think is impressive. Like, me being able to tell you who was on the cover of the last 12 Nintendo Power magazines in reverse chronological order was not going to impress the normie kids at the lunch table. But at least they, too, appreciate Eminem. And so if I hit them with some... Yo, like you never seen a white person before, jaws on the floor, like man, like Tom just burst the door, start whipping her ass first before, sort out the furniture, it's all turned out, oh wait, no way, you're kidding, he didn't just say what I think he did he? What Dre said. Don't think he did, Dre said, it's out to my basement. Some people used to love Eminem, chicken, Slim Shady, I'm sick of him, look at him walking around, guys, you know what, yeah, you know who, yeah, but he's so cute, man, probably got a couple of screws up him, head loose, but no loose, yeah, I'm like laying way too far back to do this. Ugh. I swallowed something that was like stuck to my tonsil, I think. It's going down in a real gross way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I probably got a couple of screws up in my head loose, but no worse than what's going on in your parents' bedroom. Sometimes I want to get a TV and just let loose, but I can't because it's cool for Tom Green to hump a dead moose. A bum is on your lips. A bum is on your lips.
Obama's on your lips.
Obama's on your lips. And if I'm lucky, you might just give it a little kiss. That's a message to little kids. They expect to not know what a woman's pussy is. No, it's a clitoris.
It's a clitoris.
I only ever heard the censored version, so I only learned that the word was clitoris like recently when I was like, I'm gonna find the uncensored version of that song. That's another thing about learning all your songs from TRL is that man, when I found out that all of the Ludacris songs that were popular in my childhood were very different, like get back, y'all know me like that. It's actually get back, motherfucker, y'all know me like that. I was like, this is way better. I fucking missed out. I seriously missed out on Get Back. Or Move, bitch! Get out the way! Which was just Move! Get out the way!
How did that song even get, like...
But nothing is more of a travesty. And this might be what turned me away from the radio, is when Let's Get It Started happened. I think that was the death of my ability to listen to pop music. Because that pissed me off so much. You know what I'm talking about, right? Let's get it started.
I know that song, but where do they swear?
Let's get retarded. The song is Let's Get Retarded. I had the album, alright? I had listened to that album a lot of times, and my favorite song on it was Let's Get Retarded. Ha! Let's get retarded in here. And if you listen to the fucking song, the lyrics make no sense unless it's Let's Get Retarded. The whole song is about getting retarded. Like, hold on, let me try to think of how it starts. Like, you know, don't move too fast, people will walk you slow, step right step, like an instant new kid. Like, you know, I can't remember all the words, but they're all about being retarded. Like, it's a song about getting retarded, and they made it Let's Get It Started so it wouldn't be controversial, and then it became a huge hit. And I was like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Fuck you, Black Eyed Peas. But,
mix my milk
same
with your
same
Cocoa
goes with
Puffs. Milky Cocoa Puffs. Your milk with my Cocoa Puffs.
Well, here's one I know you'll appreciate. That was a huge travesty. Forget you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No. What is even the point of the song if it's not fuck you? Which was like, that song was one of the first ever lyric videos I saw on YouTube. Because the original release of Fuck You was a lyric video that just came up out of nowhere. There wasn't even an album that it was attached to. It was just like a single that appeared on YouTube with like a kinetic typography video, you know? Mm-hmm. And that was kind of what started like the kinetic typography trend of lyric videos. Like everybody trying to make their text fucking move as fancy as possible. I pity the fool who falls in love with you. Oh shit, she's a gold digger. Just thought you should know, nigga. There you go, another one. Gold digger. And I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Nah, dog. She ain't messing with no broke nigga. Get down, girl. Go ahead, get down.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Gotta
You know
get
what
more
the Midwest
Pokeballs.
is? Young and restless. This kid might snatch your necklace. The next one might jack your Lexus. Anybody know who Kanye West is?
Nobody knows who Kanye West is.
White Kanye West.
Kanye
White
West is
Kanye
a
West.
myth.
White Kanye West. 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 That's a preview for all you suckers out there. Baby knows what I'm talking about. She's heard White Kanye West.
I gotta keep it a secret.
I haven't decided if I want to remake the song or not. Sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, why Kanye West, why? And sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, this is a clusterfuck. This is the worst song I've ever made. But then, what would be more Kanye than dropping a clusterfuck? Like, I mean, we heard that one he did with Post Malone and Justin Bieber. Good lord. That was a total clusterfuck. Or the song he did on Chance's album, that was a clusterfuck. Or, you know, or like the entirety of the life of Pablo. So, what could be more white Kanye West than like just a fucking nightmare of atonal garbage?
Nothing can.
White Kanye West, white Kanye West. Now it's already stuck in your head, so you want to hear it now.
I do. You're right.
People of the world. What's going on over in Mayland right now?
I'm just playing this dank game.
I gotta pee and I gotta get a drink. Do you have anything you want to talk about while I pee and get a drink?
I also have to pee though.
Oh. Well, how long do you want to keep doing this for?
How long have we been doing it for?
Like an hour and a half, I think?
Well, I'm about to
I can't read the numbers.
be on like a big ass dungeon.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to make this episode extra long and just take a break, or do you want to stop it before it gets out of hand?
What do you think you should do?
I am totally fine either way. If we stop playing this game, I'm going to go back to the game that I was already playing. And if we keep playing this game, I'll keep thinking of funny things to say and probably make lots of mimetic rap
I
references.
think we should probably end it for tonight, just
Yeah?
because we don't got a lot to talk about.
That's true.
I'll just talk about butchery if we continue.
That would
the
be
game.
interesting.
I've been reading this book called Killing It, and it's like about this lady who travels to France after having a midlife crisis, and she learns the art of butchery from a bunch of like French chefs who are real old school, and it's pretty cool. But
Anything in particular that you wanted to say about this book?
just that, wow.
Well, if you don't want to give a book review, we can just recommend
I'm not done with
people,
the book yet.
That's true. Well, if anybody wants to hear more about this book, if you're curious, Better Than Food Book Reviews just did the basis of you reading it is that Better Than Food Book Reviews did a book review of it, and we watched that book review, and I was like, hey, here's a book review. You're reading books, and you were like, that sounds like a cool book. I want to read that book. And I was like, let's go get that book.
And it was at Barnes and Nobles, and it just came out. It's like
Yeah.
a new hot release.
So you bought that, and I wanted to buy another book that Better Than Food Book Reviews reviewed, which was called 20 Days of Turin, but I couldn't find it. But what I did find was a very strange magazine called The Baffler. And I'm sure somebody in my audience will have heard of it, so by all means, let me know what the fuck this magazine is. Because I picked it up because, I mean, it had a cool name and a cool cover. And then on the back cover was like this weird-ass illustration of a TV with like a bunch of ads for like, what was it, Google or something on the TV? It was
Netflix.
like, no, it was Apple TV.
Apple and then Netflix.
Well, there was no Netflix ad. It's the guy
There
saying
wasn't?
why Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
It's an
yeah.
Apple TV, and it's got legs and arms, and the legs have like stiletto heels that are stomping on a guy's face, and the guy is saying why Netflix, and then it says strong female lead across the picture, and the arm coming out of the TV is holding up a sign that says like I heart like capitalist programming or something like that. Like, and I was just like, I can't tell what this is trying to say. Like, it seems like it's saying that, like, this, like, I don't know, that, like, the Netflix is putting all these identity politics in shows to try to make, like, make it so you have to watch TV as, like, a fucking statement when it's really just corporate marketing in the first place, and that people feel like, you know, stomped underfoot by it. I couldn't tell what political ideology it had. So I start flipping through, reading all the articles, trying to figure out, like, what propaganda is this? Is this liberal propaganda? Is this conservative propaganda? What kind of propaganda am I looking at? And I couldn't figure it out after sampling every article in the magazine for at least a couple sentences. And so I was like, well, you've got my attention. If I can't tell what kind of political slant you're like, clearly politicized writing, but, like, for whom? For what side? And then I saw in the back that it called itself irreverent, and I was like, maybe the whole point of this magazine is called The Baffler, is this feeling of I'm not sure what I'm supposed to feel from this. And then I was like, is this stuff even real? Like, is it possible that these articles are, like, you know, gonzo-y? Like, is this, like, full facts? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I want to do some more research on it, but it clearly goes out of its way to not let you understand that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's clearly trying to be like, hey, man, it's just a bunch of writing. Who knows what it means? And I'm like, this is cool. This is my speed. So, yeah, I mean, I've only read, like, a page so far, so I don't really have anything else to say about it. Are we done? Did you save?
We're done. We saved.
You want to stop now?
Yeah, I gotta pee real bad.
I gotta pee real bad, too. I hope you all enjoyed more Pokemon Colosseum.
We
managed to find more to say than I thought we would, so I'm happy. I feel great.
Me too.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.